I'm going to show you how to create this Valentine using Keynote, transitions, pretty fonts, and exporting as an animated GIF. I am going to open up Keynote. Just so you know, I am on Big Sur on a MacBook, and I am running Keynote version 10.3.9. You can use Keynote on an iPad, you can use Keynote on a MacBook, and it doesn't really matter what version you're on. You just might have slightly different themes than I choose. Something else to note is that I do have special fonts that I like to use, and I am also going to show you how that you can get these fonts as well. There are lots of sites where you can get fonts. I use dafont.com the most. You can also go to Google Fonts, like you can just Google Fonts. It'll be the first one that comes up, and you can do very similar things that I'm going to do. I just have always used Dafont, so it's what I like, but there's lots of places where you can get fonts. I'm going to choose a handwritten font, and I'm going to type in what I want to write. And I will go to more options and choose 100% free and public domain, because I use my fonts for things, for lots of things, and I never want to be using something that I shouldn't. But you can also choose free for personal use if it's something that you are just going to use for things you make. And then once you hit submit, it will show you what those words look like in that font on their site, and it can give you kind of a clue about how it's going to be. So if you find a font that you like and you want to install it or use it on your computer, you just tab on download or click on download here, and it'll go to your downloads folder on your computer. This font's name is called Love. So if I click on Love, double click that, my font book on my computer will open, and it'll basically ask me, hey, did you want to install this font? And I do, so I'm going to click install font, and it will just install it. Now, my little tip to you is to keep in mind what that font is named, because you have a lot of fonts on your computer already, and when you go to change your font, you're going to need to look for the name. So just kind of be aware when you install something what it's called. So I am going to open up Keynote now, and we're going to get started. I will go to File, New, and just choose any theme that you want to choose. It doesn't really matter. I will tell you, if you are on the newest version of Keynote, there are some new font or new themes under editorial that look pretty nice. The presentation one has some pretty nice theme colors that are related to Valentine's Day in it, but you can choose bold, you can choose whatever you want. So I'm just going to click one of these, and I'm going to click create. Now, when you get started, you can just choose to delete everything off of your slide, or you can add a blank slide, or you can pick one that's in the background. I'm going to choose this light pink color, and I'm going to delete the text that's on here. Now, if you did choose a blank one and you wanted to go ahead and create a rectangle of your own, you'll just click the shape tool, add a rectangle, grab the bottom right corner to resize it, make it whatever size you want, and then use those grids that are going to pop up. Those guides help you align everything or center what you're doing, and then you can pick a color. You will notice on the right of Keynote that you have all of this formatting stuff that you can do with your sheets. So you can change the style by changing the color. If these are collapsed, you just need to click the little arrow next to the word to uncollapse them, or to open them up and to see what's in here. You can do gradient fills, color fills. There's a lot of things to play with in here. You can add borders to things if you want to, shadows, all kinds of stuff in here. Okay, so I am going to try to recreate what I already did. So basically, I've got a card that's got a bunch of shapes on it. So I'm going to click on the shape tool, and I'm going to search for heart and grab a heart and add it to my slide. And you can make these however big or small that you want. And I'm going to make this heart some kind of color. And then what I do to duplicate on my MacBook is I do Command D as a keyboard shortcut, or you can also go to Edit and go down to Duplicate Selection if you want. So Command D allows me to do that really quickly. I am going to come in here and just pick some fun, bright colors. And then I'm going to place them on this page wherever I want them to go. You can also hold down your Command button and move your mouse to the upper right corner of any of your shapes, and that will make your little arrow curve, and that means that you can turn things. You can also just click the arrange tool and actually rotate it with this little button here if you want to, but it's easier for me to just hold down command, and then you can kind of turn those however you need to. Okay, so I've added my hearts, and now what I want to do is I want to make them move from one page to the other. So I'm going to take my first slide and duplicate it, and then I am going to grab all of these hearts and select all of them. I'm holding down my shift key while I click through all of them, and I'm going to make their angle back to 0 here so that they'll straighten up. Now I want to move all of these to the very center. So what I'm going to do is grab one of them and move it to the center until I get my crosshairs. And then I'm going to click on my Format Arrange tool, and I'm going to take a look at the position. So it shows me my position right now is 442 and 322 as my X and Y coordinates. 442 and 322. So what I'm going to do is select all these other shapes by holding my shift key down and just selecting all of them, and I'm going to type those in. And that's going to perfectly align them all together, so I don't have to worry about them not being in the exact right spot. The other thing that I'm going to do here on both of my slides, I should have done this earlier, is select all my shapes, and I'm going to go to shadow, and I'm going to add a drop shadow. I'm going to select them all, go to shadow, and I'm going to add a drop shadow. Just gives it a little bit of dimension, pops it off the page a bit. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is select slide 1. I'm going to click on animate, and I'm going to add an effect to slide 1 called Magic Move. Magic Move is a custom animation that Keynote has that allows shapes or text to move from one slide to the next. The only thing is you have to make sure that you have everything that you want moving on both slides that are next to one another. So both slides 1 and 2 in this presentation have those hearts on it. And so now what happens when I click play is those are going to now move with the Magic Move transition from slide to slide. I'm also going to select slide 1 and make sure that that transition starts automatically, and I'm going to take the delay off. I can also add an action on my top part. I'm going to add a pulse as an animation action, and you can customize what that looks like. You can even change the scale and hit preview, kind of see what happens there. Okay, and then I'm going to click my build order, and I'm going to make sure that that pulse happens immediately after the transition. So now if I hit play, take a look at what this looks like. There we go. So now those hearts are going to move out. And then what I'm going to do is add a text box, and I'm just going to type whatever I want this to say. And I'm on slide 2 now. Okay, and of course I'm going to go in here and format my text. I'm going to choose a font that I like that I've installed, and I can make that font really large. I usually just type in 100 and then adjust it as I need to. Okay. And then I'm going to select my text color and click on my little color wheel here. Now you can make text and have gradient fills or advanced gradient or even image fills if you want to, but for this I'm just going to do a plain color, and I'm going to actually get this pink color here that I've chosen on this heart. So what I'm going to do is grab my eyedropper tool and click on that pink color, and it's going to make that the exact color that I'm using on my font. I am going to now add some text boxes and add in the words that I want on all my hearts. So I'm going to just type whatever I want them to say. Change the font that I want. This is the font Calendra. Got it off dafont.com. And make this white so it pops off the screen. Okay, I'm going to duplicate that now that I have it looking how I want. And you can use your arrow keys to inch things up. And just fill in little sayings on your hearts. I actually don't want these to be white. I want these, I'm going to select all my text. I want these to be the exact same color as my background color here, is this pink, because I want, when I'm on slide 1, I don't want you to see the words. I just want you to see them when the hearts move. So I'm going to select all of my text, and I'm going to go to my text color here, click my paint dropper tool, and click that background color so that it's the same exact color as it is behind. The only problem is I can't see it on this now, so I feel like I need to make these colors a little bit darker. Now that you can see everything really well, and our letters on our hearts are the same color as our background, we're ready to finish this off. So I'm going to add another shape. I'm going to add a heart again this time, except now I'm going to take the color fill out. I'm just going to choose fill, no fill, and I'm going to go to border, and I'm going to do a line. And I'm going to zoom in on this, as you can see really well, which I'm just like using my fingers on my trackpad to pinch out, but you could also go to zoom and like type in a number or just choose something here. I'm going to do a 2-finger click, and I'm going to make this editable, and then I am going to see all these little dots that pop up. What you can do if you want to change these is just grab it and pull it down. You can actually grab more dots and just make this heart look a little bit more hand-drawn. So you can click a dot to get a new dot, and kind of maybe pull this out. You can really kind of play around with however you want to make this look. And hit return. And you can also change your line type, so there's all kinds of different things you can choose in here. And you can make this thin or thick or whatever you want to do. So I am going to make this color the same pink as here. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to go red just so it shows up. And do that on all these. There we go. Okay, so here's my, can't see that, make it a little thicker. And now I'm going to add another text box and just type my name. I've already got things, my hearts are moving, but I need to select my Happy Valentine's Day text, and I need to go to Animate, and I need to add some type of build in that text with something. So I'm just going to pick something on all of these. For my name, I'm also going to do a build. I'm just going to do a wipe so it looks like I'm writing it, and then I'm going to choose my heart here, and I'm going to do a build, and I can choose line draw. If it's a shape that has a border, you can actually do a line draw build to add it in, and you can change how quickly that comes in and which direction and all kinds of stuff. So you can fuss with all of that to your liking. Now I need to just get the build order correct. So if I click on build order here in my animate section, I can choose when things come on the screen and how they come on the screen. Happy Valentine's Day, I want it to start after the transition. I want my heart to come on after that. And I want my name, I'm gonna drag it down under my shape. I want it to come after build 2. Let's see, after build 1. So now that those are all like together, you can see what they're doing. And if I play this from the beginning, I can see what it looks like. So now that you've created your animation, now you need to figure out how you're going to send it. Now you've created this in Keynote, so what you can do with Keynotes is you can export them as PDFs, PowerPoints, movies, animated GIFs, images, etc. So animated GIF is the one I'm going to choose here because this is something I would want to text and have it like replay over and over again. You could also export it as a movie and add it to iMovie at the beginning of something else that you want to do. If you want to add pictures and have it do a whole slideshow, you could add music, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to choose animated GIF for this, and I'm going to do slides 1 to 2. I'm going to choose extra large resolution and 30 frames per second. You can do 24 frames per second. At the frame rate, I would just mess around with those until it looks the way you want kind of when you're done. If I choose 30 frames per second, I'm not really seeing a big hit to my resolution or my duration, so I'm just going to leave it like that. And then I'm going to say next. I'm going to give it a name. Save it somewhere on my computer where I can find it again and click export. It's going to create that GIF. And then if you want to see how it looks, you find the file. There it is. And it'll play right here for you, so you kind of get a preview of it. You could also take that file and drag it to one of your browsers to open it, and the browser will actually open it. Now it's only playing from your computer, but you can kind of see what it would look like. So now that it looks the way you want and you've animated it, how do you get it to people? Well, you could text it to someone, you could email it, you could put it on social media. There's lots of ways to get that GIF there. It just has to sort of live on the internet to work, to have movement. So you've got lots of options on how you want to send it out.